little swim.
So, first of all, congratulations to you guys. An incredible effort over the 7 matches in the course of the season. I'll go straight to the general manager, actually, James. I think you've lived every moment of this season on TV and in the stands. And how does it feel for you to be crowned, for your team to be crowned the inaugural champions?
There's one microphone. Okay.
No, it's obviously it's absolutely fantastic. It's probably one of the most emotional swimming competitions I've ever been involved in. I know the Olympics and World Championships are obviously special, but this is a totally different feeling. When you're with the team, it's a different type of emotion. It's a lot more intense. The pressure's a lot higher. There was huge expectation on us coming into the meet, and I say to my team, you want to be where expectation is high. That means you're good. And we had a lot of pressure on us to come through because we knew we were a strong team. But to be honest, the reason why we won this all happened during the recruiting process early in the year, getting the right people involved. Like my strategy early on, I worked very, very hard with Tom Rushton, my associate with Energy Standard, and we knew that we had to target the relays and the skins. So we had some very focused recruiting. I think if you look on paper, you know, I don't mind saying this now, we were not the strongest team. We definitely were not the strongest team. California were excellent, London were superb, but where we won the meet was because we were the best team. We won when it mattered, the triple points, the skins, and the relays, and we saw that all the way through. Like in Naples, we were 40 points behind. We come up on one today. We were 37 points behind at one point, and we won. And the guys are, especially these 3, they're here as superhuman beings, and they're very resilient. And I think, you know, all credit to the athletes really, because they had to deal with a lot of pressure. Some of them were not swimming their best at this meet, and they had to really drag. You know, that's why good athletes are great. You know, they can drag performances out. Sarah at the end, she's not happy with some of her swims, but she comes out and wins the skins quite convincingly when it matters. But like I say, the performances all comes down to the athletes. There's nothing really to do with us. We pick the team, but the guys had to buy into our vision, buy into our belief, and they came on the journey with us.
And Sarah, overall MVP, incredible. Was that playing on your mind at all over the last couple of days, that you could potentially win this?
Well, the main thing was to take points for my team all the way, already from the first competition in Indianapolis. So yeah, the MVP is a big bonus, of course. I'm very, very happy that I was able to take this title also. Of course, it was. I was racing some of my biggest competitors in almost every race I had, so I'm not used to that tough racing that often. So it was a very good experience for me to race with that much pressure so often. I felt like I was swimming the World Champs like 4 times this season. So that's very exciting. I'm very, very happy that we finally got started with this competition, and it was so much fun to win together with Energy Standard.
Fantastic. Chad, how much for you has team spirit been part of Energy Standard's success over this season, and the fact that you've been together a fair amount before and during the season?
Absolutely. It was crazy. I mean, I think tonight was one of the craziest nights ever for me. Emotions, you know, from high to low to low to high. It was truly, truly unbelievable. Hey, Instagram. You know, like James said, it came down to the skins and the relays. We had to fight and dig deep. It wasn't easy, you know. I think James also touched on it. You know, we definitely weren't the best team on paper, but we were the most resilient. And I think that's what showed. You know, and even in Naples, we won by half a point. It was just crazy character from everyone, the boys and girls, and you know, Sarah and Fem and the skins, and of course Flo and Benny pushing through there. The script couldn't have been written any better. So for me, it was a huge honour to represent this team, and I think credit also needs to go to James Gibson, Tom, and the physios and the doctors. They really played a huge part in making this team tick. So thank you.
And finally, Florent, you know, how is the ISL been perceived in France since the start of the season? Have you noticed a difference in the profile of swimming and profile of yourself in your home country since the start of the season?
It's a difficult question for a French swimmer.
Second hardest one for Florent.
I don't really understand exactly what you mean, but I think There is a difference because I have a group on Snapchat with all my teammates in France because I have 2 clubs. I have Energy Standard with all the guys, and I have another one, and they're all like, "Oh my God, it was just amazing this final," because it was so close and it was a little bit unexpected because as James told before, we are not the best team on the paper, but it's always like that, This is sport, and this is why we are watching sport, because there is a team on the paper and it can be different in the water. So it's amazing just to swim this final in Vegas.
There you go, easy question in the end. Okay, so we open the questions to the floor. So if you have a question, please raise your hand and state who you're working for. So first question.
I'm Tori Hart with SwimSwam. Your team had some experience with this format before from a couple of years ago, and you're together as a team a lot more than the other groups. Do you think that experience, having experience before with this format, played into your strategy at all here?
I think having a little bit of experience with the format played into the recruitment strategy, for sure. Because obviously we did the test event in Rome 2 years ago, and we saw there that where we picked up the most points was in the skins events at the end and the relays, and I think that's where it come out. But having most of the guys together for a vast majority of the time, you get to understand them a lot better. You get to know if everyone's got sickness and niggles. You can easily adapt, but to be honest, that hasn't really come into play for a lot of these events. We've been exceptionally lucky that we haven't really had any injuries or any illness throughout the meets, and I'm sure as the calendar expands that could become an issue into 2020 and 2021. But we went to prepare for that and plan for that. But I think most teams, there wasn't much illness or injury flying around, and I think that's just the nature. People come in and out. So from an experience point of view, just the recruitment process, yeah.
Okay. Next question.
Can I just ask, Florent, sorry, Lisbeth from AP Commercial, about the different emotions for you over the 2 days as well? Caleb sort of taking you up the 50 world record, but then you're the guy who ultimately, clinches it for Energy.
Yes, I think because of the team, I was in a good mood today, because yesterday was a little bit difficult. It's always difficult when you lost a world record, but world record are made to be beaten, I think. And I have another one, and it will be beaten, I don't know, maybe next year. And I prefer to be the hunter, and now I feel much better because when I'm second, I just feel better. It will be a little bit difficult the next day maybe, but in January or February, I know he's the fastest swimmer on the planet. I will just try to catch him.
Next question.
Yeah, can I also ask James? When it comes down to obviously the guys in the skins, they're so experienced, Olympic and world medals and titles. What did you say? Did you speak to them before? When they actually got down to the finals of the skins?
I did. No, I spoke to them. I just generally, when I came out onto deck, I don't normally come out onto deck. It's just to clarify the message. It's a very simple message to Sarah. Just get yourself into the final. No mistakes.
No pressure.
No pressure. And Flo's message was, if you get the top 2, we win the meet. I looked him straight in the eyes, had these big eyes, and I said, it was more like, thanks, mate. Thank you. En French, merci. No, but I think it's important. It's just relaying the message. And also there's tactics of the skins, there's different strategies, and obviously Caleb has got supreme endurance, Flo's more a front end guy and a big heavier guy. So you need to play to your strengths. And poor old Benny in the second round, his message was survive.
Yeah.
Don't get beat by Sarah.
Another question?
Sarah, equal pay for equal work is a huge issue in the world today. You coming out on top for the award and winning the grand prize. Is there maybe a bigger message there for other female athletes or young girls maybe who are watching that, you can get in there and compete head to head, at the end of the day?
Yeah, I think this is one of the best parts about the ISL, that we race against the men. It was so cool to I was racing against Shad here with the MVP title, even if we are teammates. So it was very exciting that I finally got the chance to race against men. And maybe in the future they will do 4 rounds in the skin and I can race flow there. I actually talked about that with Constantine, and he said it was a good idea, so I'm looking forward to that.
I'm not sure about that.
Okay, another question? Yep, at the back.
Ryan Rosemont, Florida Swim Network. This is a question for James. Basically, considering this is the first season of ISL and we can be critical about how rules should be changed or how things should be looking as we go forward, Daiseo was obviously a big help for the roster, so I was just wondering, what are your thoughts on that, considering the fact that you did so many other meets this year? He was very effective towards your team. Should that be a rule that we should address in the future for the league? Yeah, kind of your thoughts.
No, with Dale we were open right from the start, and it wasn't as if he was just a freak last-minute sign-in just to come in and grab a few extra points. I think, yeah, you're right, but there should be a recruitment window, and I think that's one thing that ISL are looking at for next season. But Dale, right from the start, we're open and honest. He's just doing the final. Obviously, it was a gamble. We come to Vegas, we love gambling, but we took a roster pick. Obviously, he was one of my roster picks. He wasn't in the regular season, so in Naples, Flo had to do a bit of breaststroke. We had to just take the hit on the points because I knew the gamble would pay off later on, bringing him in. But it was all strategic. It wasn't as if it was just a last minute thing on a whim. But yeah, it's an exciting time for swimming. Draft periods, recruitment periods. The general managers are all going to fall out, I'm sure, next season. But it's something that the sport makes the sport exciting. It's new and it's relevant in every other sport in the world. And if we're going to create a league and a sustainable league, we need to do it like this.
James, another question? Last question? Yep, at the back.
Hi, Champions Mojo podcast. You obviously have a ton of champions that are all on the same team. What would you say are a couple of commonalities, character traits of this championship team that is a thread through all of your swimmers?
Through the whole team, honestly, it's the resilience. And you know what? It's not necessarily these guys. Like, we've got swimmers on the team that are probably not household names, but they were out there scrapping, and they were swimming. We had in the first meet in Indianapolis, Mary Sophie Harvey and Craig Ozert, probably people that you're not quite too familiar with. They raced the most out of anyone. So it was a big team effort. Every point kind of counted. Like, that came down today. I think it was 7 points. Was it today? I don't even remember. But in Naples it was 3.5. In London it was 6 points here. So every single point counts. And every person on the team has a story to tell. So, just touching out Cali Condors by 1 place, or London knocking out LA Current or whatever. It just, everything has a story, and everyone has a role to play. But I'd just say the character trait for the team is just supreme resilience. When you come into the last round and you're 30, 40 points behind, you feel it. Of course you feel it. Everyone knows where you're at, and as much as we talk about, don't worry about the points, you can't control the points, everyone knows what's happening. And the fact that the last 3 meets that we've done, we've won at the last minute in the last race by the smallest margins, it just shows I've got a resilient team.
Okay, any more questions? No? I suppose